I now give the floor, and I have the honor to give the floor to Dr. Talal Abu-Ghazaleh, please.
Your Excellency President Martin Sedgwick, I am honored to sit once again under your presidency, and I would like to salute you for hosting us and for making this event possible under your auspices. And I am also honored to be co-partnering on this with my great friend, His Excellency Dr. Klaus, Johan Klaus, who's an inspiring visionary and leader in urbanization worldwide. And I look forward to this partnership as a process for me to learn from his under him as a professor. You're a great power in change in urbanization. Particularly, you have put it to action under your role as mayor of Barcelona, which is another success story on urbanization and smart cities. So you don't only know it, you only do it. We are here, distinguished delegates, distinguished friends, to see how we can combat climate change, bring about cleaner air, water and sanitation, and create a safer and healthier urban space for our citizens. As a citizen of the world, myself, and a committed lifelong supporter of the United Nations and its noble objectives of securing our common future, I am convinced that ECOSOC has hit the right button on focusing on integration of the economic, social and environmental dimensions of sustainable development and using partnership building as a tool to realize it. Thank you for that leadership. Integration of policies and action nationally and globally is the only way to break down the so-called silos approach to the economy, the society and the planet. And bringing together of global and national stakeholders in society is the only way to make it happen. It is the need of the hour if we want to build a sustainable future for our children and generations to come. As a global business leader, I see the world as it is, but also need to imagine it as it will be, and more importantly, as it can be. The first decade and a half of the 20th century has seen more rapid changes in human communication and business environment than any comparable period in history. Newborn baby giants of technology worldwide, like Facebook, Twitter, have transformed the nature of human discourse, and the likes of Uber and Airbnb are creating new business models of sharing economy and becoming some sort of the largest providers of transport and accommodation in the world. Rapid urbanization is at the heart of this great influx. It drives technological change and innovation and is driven by it. It drives it and is driven by it. A world which is predominantly urban can be more creative and conducive to solving long-standing human problems of poverty, disease, and ignorance. But for this to happen, smart and sustainable urban planning is needed, with a long-term vision and strong leadership and engagement of all stakeholders, including the business sector. Smart and sustainable cities can become vibrant urban hubs of creativity and wealth. Indeed, as Dr. Klaus reminds us, successful cities are revenue-making machines and self-sustaining enterprises and are not a burden on government budgets. There are many success stories and innovative ideas in cities around the world, and I mentioned Barcelona as an example. But also, if you want to see green urban space and livability, go to Vancouver. For the safest roads, walkability, and interconnected districts, go to Stockholm. For free morning transit riders who leave early, go to Singapore, and many other examples. If you want to see a city to become completely carbon-free by 2025 through using wind, biomass, and other renewable energy sources, visit Copenhagen. There are many more stories to tell from Asia, Africa, Latin America, which show that while the resource constraints are real, these should not limit our imagination and ingenuity. If we bring the private sector on board through innovative partnerships with city governments to devise smart and sustainable solutions and invest in the future, many of the constraints can be overcome. I warmly welcome your support and your initiative to create this platform as a powerful instrument to promote smart and sustainable cities and towns by building partnerships between public and private sector and civil society to exchange experience, to learn from each other, and to accumulate and share knowledge among city leaders and planners across the world. It is my hope that through this platform, we can fully engage the relevant organization networks, UN agencies and UN system, governments, urban leaders, planners and architects, scientists, academic community, as well as business and technology companies to create synergies and avoid duplication of efforts. Our aim should be to create a network of networks built at a minimum cost with optimal global impact. The tools we can deploy could include an annual global forum, developing standards and models, providing consulting assistance to cities for smart solutions, disseminating best practices, and helping to create data banks and repositories of knowledge and expertise. Building on what I learned from leading the UN ICT Task Force and the UN GAID, Global Alliance for ICT and Development, and UN Global Compact, and many other UN entities, I commit my support and the support of Talal Abu-Ghazaleh organization for this important initiative. In closing, Mr. President, I would like to say how proud I am to convene this initiative with my dear friend and leader, Dr. Johan Kloss, a leading authority on urbanization issues. I would like to take this opportunity to invite you all, with Dr. Kloss's permission and on his behalf, to have our next first forum on promoting digital technologies for urbanization, sustainable urbanization, and I propose that we convene it in the smart city of the region, the city of Dubai. Thank you, sir.
I thank you, Dr. Abu-Ghazaleh, for your statement. I agree fully that Barcelona is a wonderful example and a success story, fortunately not only for, to say, the environment, but also for football, which is important to say in these hours and in those days, especially also for me. Dr. Ghazaleh, when you were mentioning many of the cities, I thought that finally you will also mention my hometown, Vienna, which has been voted the most livable city in the world for 3 years in a row. But anyhow, it might in your next intervention you might in your next intervention you might then also mention Vienna. And with this, I turn to Mr. Maher Atta, the Director of Operations of Tax System, to make his statement. Please, Dr. Atta.
Can you hear that? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for having us. Being involved in the public sector in the technology space for the last 18 years, I believe as we sit here and talk about building a framework, we must also look at the existing frameworks that are already in these cities before we try to start from zero. So I believe when you think about most cities, the higher education segment is a tremendous opportunity to begin. You think about financial institutions, also, again, foundational segments within technology that have tremendous opportunity for growth. So I believe it's important as we sit here and talk about this major launch, this opportunity, we must look at the framework and the opportunities within these cities to leverage the existing segments and expand on what is available to us today. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to start from zero versus leveraging and partnering with the existing framework within these cities. Having had the opportunity to work in many small cities, mid-sized cities, and large cities, the foundation is always there. So I think it's critical that we put our own agendas to the side and focus on the local people and have them involved in this major initiative. So thank you.